burnout and confusion to a six-figure job offer in tech. Hi, I'm Anis, a former fashion designer turned software engineer living in New York City. If you're thinking about switching careers into tech but have zero background and no idea where to start, you're in the right place. I'll show you how I went from knowing nothing about code to getting hired in tech. No CS degree, no shortcuts. This is the story of how I completely changed my career and made it work. Let's get started. I was working in fashion for years, but deep down on me, I was craving for something more growth, a better lifestyle, and honestly, a better paycheck. I remember sitting at my desk one day, completely drained after meetings on top of meetings. I was thinking, is this it? Is this what I'm going to be doing forever? Just repeating the same nonsense over and over again? Around that time, I started getting curious about tech. I kept hearing stories about people switching careers into software engineering. At first, I didn't believe it. I thought you had to be a math genius or some kind of tech nerd, and that you had to go back to school for a CS degree. But the more I researched, the more I realized people were actually teaching themselves how to code and landing jobs. That lit a fire under me. I started learning with free resources online, such as YouTube tutorials, free codecamp, and other random websites. I would spend about 2 hours every night after work, after my full-time job, for like almost 2 months. But honestly, I was so tiring, exhausting, and overwhelming. There's so much information out there, and I had no idea what to focus on. I quickly realized I needed more structure, some direction at least. So I started looking into coding bootcamps, places where I could learn in a more controlled environment alongside others on the same journey. You might be thinking, but I can't afford a coding bootcamp. Is it possible to stay self taught? Yes, it absolutely is. And I can share a learning roadmap with you in a future video to help you stay on focus and avoid the confusion I went through in the beginning. But if you're curious about how to pick a good coding bootcamp, I will dive deeper into that in a future video. Anyways, I ended up applying to two top coding bootcamps. And guess what? Both rejected me because I didn't already know how to code.
Wait, what?
Mhm. They required all students to pass assessments and a coding interview before joining. But the good part is they gave me some free prep courses on JavaScript and things related to the future bootcamp classes, which it helped me finally learn with some structure and having some direction. So I ended up spending 2 to 3 hours every night watching those prep courses and practicing JavaScript after my full-time job. And yes, sometimes, I would say most of the time, I would fall asleep mid tutorial, drooling on my laptop like a true tech warrior. I even gave up some weekends because I really wanted to pass the assessments and join the bootcamp. After 2 months of working through the prep courses, I finally passed the assessments and coding interview. I got accepted into a 3 month full time immersive coding bootcamp, and I was so excited. I decided to quit my fashion job so I could fully commit to it. Mm-hmm. Yep, people call me crazy. At the bootcamp, I was learning alongside other self taught developers from all kinds of backgrounds. Some of them were teachers, lawyers, nurses, and moms. You name it. It really opened my eyes. We were all on the same journey trying to break into tech. In those 3 months, I gained hands on experience by working with other students to build group projects, using real tools and frameworks like React, Node.js, Express, SQL databases. The whole experience was so much fun, but also super, super stressful. It felt like drinking from a fire hose because I had to absorb so much knowledge and information in such a short amount of time. Yeah, it wasn't easy at all. The interview experience, this part, not gonna lie, it was really stressful. I graduated from the bootcamp in around mid December, and I didn't start applying right away because of the holidays. That was a huge mistake. I should have started applying earlier. When I did start applying, I got ghosted a lot. I also failed a bunch of, online assessments and coding interviews. That's when I realized I had to start taking LeetCode seriously. For those of you who don't know what LeetCode is, it's a platform where developers practice solving coding problems. So I ended up spending at least 2 hours a day grinding on it. Long story short, after standing out around 200 applications, I finally landed my first offer at a fintech startup. That moment, unreal. And trust me, I had some cringe moments. One time, I completely froze during a live coding interview because I forgot how to write a for loop. That's something I've done a million times before. After that, I started practicing out loud and timing myself to get more comfortable under pressure. If there's one thing I learned, is this: interviewing is a skill on its own. You are not just showing what you know, you are learning how to stay calm, explain your thought process, and keep going even when you mess up. I will talk more about interviewing tips and strategy in a future video. When I finally got the offer, I was honestly in shock. I kept reading the email like, wait, is this real? The offer came with a generous six-figure salary, great benefits such as full healthcare, 401k, annual bonus, and equity. The total compensation was around 140k, which was more than I'd ever made in fashion. It felt surreal. All those late nights, rejections, and moments of doubt, they were finally worth it. But things didn't move as fast as I expected. The background check ended up taking almost a full month. I was refreshing my email every single day, wondering if something had gone wrong. So, if you are in this stage, just know it's totally normal for things to take time. Just be patient, stay ready, and trust that it will all come together. So, yeah, from fashion design to software engineering, it's been a wild ride. It wasn't easy, and there were a lot of moments when I questioned myself and everything, but I'm so glad I stuck with it. If you're thinking about learning to code or making a big career shift, I hope my story shows you that it's possible, even without tech background or a CS degree. I'll be sharing more about my journey, lessons I've learned, and tips that help me along the way. So, if you're curious about coding bootcamps, self taught resources, or how to survive tech interviews, definitely stick around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop any questions in the comments. I'll love to help however I can. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!